owing the government some money and you're not entirely certain how to make the payment, not a problem. I'll show you exactly how to do it in this easy step-by-step guide. First of all, figure out whether your payment is in your own name or in your business name. If it's in your own name, go to payment for individuals over here. If you foresee not being able to make your payment, you can either arrange to pay your debt over time or even contact the CRA and let them know that you're not going to be able to make the payments. It's always better to be proactive instead of hoping that they're not going to notice that you didn't make your payments. We'll swing back to those two options in a second, but let's actually look at how to make the payment. To make a payment, you have multiple options. You can pay online, in person, or by mail. These days, most people typically opt with the online options, but it's entirely up to you which one you want to go with. Among the most common options tends to usually be adding the CRA as a payee. Simply follow these instructions. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But you can also opt to pay via Interact Debit or Visa Debit if you have those available to you. Even setting up a pre-authorized debit payment is also an option. And finally, you can also pay via wire if that's what you want to do. Now, you can also pay in person by going to your financial institution or Canada Post location. In those cases, just follow those instructions, or even by mail. Now, they make a note here saying that they don't accept payments via cash, gift cards, or cryptocurrency, brackets Bitcoin. I wonder if any of the other 23,000 cryptos are accepted, but anyway, I digress. Now, let's go back to seeing exactly how to do it if you actually want to do a simple bill payment. So just log into your banking software, and all you have to do is just type in CRA like this, and then make sure to select the correct year. So CRA, revenue, tax, 2022. So that's what you want. If it's for the 2022 tax season, obviously, then simply enter your social insurance number over here and basically add it as a payee, and then simply enter the amount and you're done. Fairly straightforward. Now, if you happen to live in Quebec, the exact same options will be available to you. So you can either make a payment through your financial institution, and you can follow the instructions for those specific institutions over there, depending on which one you have. You can also set up a pre-authorized debit if you want. Pay in person at your financial institution or at an ATM. In those cases, make sure to bring the original remittance slip that the CRA sends you when they send you your notice of assessment or your notice of reassessment, or finally by mail. If you want to pay online again, open up the app. And now what you want to type in here is MRQ. That stands for Ministère Revenu Québec, and select the correct tax year. In this case, it will be Impôt Particulier 2022 if it's for individuals. Select that. And one more time, enter your social insurance number, and then press continue, and then basically tell exactly how much you want to pay and make your payment. Now, one final note, as I told you before, let's go back to trying to arrange a payment. Let's say you cannot make the full payment, you know it for a fact. So what are some of your options? Well, follow these instructions. It'll basically tell you what are some of your available possibilities in terms of by how much you can delay it and so on and so forth. Again, depending on your situation, it would take too long for me to go through every single one of these, but follow it along. It's pretty straightforward. All right. And lastly, how about what happens if you're unable to pay? Well, again, it's incredibly important to contact the CRA ASAP in those instances. So you see, call us to discuss your options. Make sure to call them and inform them about your situation, because not calling them and just hoping that they're not going to notice that you haven't paid your taxes is not a way out of this. And there can be significant negative consequences for not paying. What specifically? Well, the CRA typically does not take legal action until 90 days after the mailing date of your notice of assessment or reassessment, whichever case may be. And then before they start any form of legal action, again, they have to make 3 attempts to give you verbal warning by phone, and then also have to send you 1 written legal warning. Now, one thing I want to make you very, very aware of is that there's a lot of scammers these days pretending to be the CRA and pretending to be, making one of these calls here. It's like, oh my God, you haven't paid your taxes, and so on and so forth. If you know for a fact that you've been making your payments, do not give those individuals any information whatsoever. And even if you haven't made a payment, just to be on the safe side, simply tell that individual, okay, fine, you know what? I just want to ensure that you are actually from the CRA. I will call you back. And instead of just taking whatever phone number they give you, tell them, I'm going to call you back at 1-888-863-8657. Simply give me the extension from that particular number. If they give you a song and dance about, oh, well, these days we're working remotely, there's no way for me to be contacted that way. Again, do not give those individuals any information whatsoever. The very last thing you would need if you're not able to make your tax payments because you're struggling financially is, on top of everything, to also get scammed out of money by someone pretending to be the CRA, right? So finally, there are some additional options available to you if you're not able to make those payments via the taxpayer relief. So in some circumstances, you may ask for relief from penalties and interest and reduce the amount you owe. Or maybe if there's no other option, go with insolvency or bankruptcy. So if you have no other financial options, you might consider insolvency or bankruptcy in certain extreme cases. But in either case, it's better to contact the CRA, communicate with them, than basically hoping that they're not going to notice. I hope this was helpful.